My name is Professor Sifila Wanjiko Momenya. I'm Associate Professor in Civil Engineering at the University of Nairobi in Kenya. Kenya is in Eastern Africa, within the African continent, because here we are talking about continents. So I'm from Africa.
And my name is Irene Gare, Research Assistant to Professor Momenya, and we're going to be talking a little bit about our project. I'll be asking her some questions and she'll be answering them. So,
all right.
Professor Momenya,
yes.
I see we are beautifully dressed, both of us.
Yes.
What's the occasion?
The occasion is special. First of all, you know we are in February, and February is also the Valentine's month, so we have to look for a local red content. And also we want to be able to present our culture in an international conference, which will be in Paris from 9th. We'll be back on the 16th, and it's on the Artificial Intelligence Peace Summit, where all the heads of states and stakeholders come together to be able to understand the fourth industrial revolution, which is the artificial intelligence. And here at the University of Nairobi in the Faculty of Engineering, we have this interesting project on the extraction of carbon from landfill in our biggest landfill in Nairobi, that is Dandora. We want artificial intelligence to be able to predict for us what resources we have in that landfill. And our project was chosen among the 50 worldwide to be exhibited at the summit in Paris. And therefore we are very excited to also carry along with us our culture, which is a very rich culture, which can be demonstrated by the dressing code. That's why we are so beautifully dressed for a purpose, and also to be able to market our country, and also to introduce AI to the culture, because AI needs to be fed by data, and AI needs to capture the dressing code to identify it with the Kenyan culture. I hope I have answered your question.
The question has been thoroughly answered.
Thank you.
You've actually captured my next question, which was about you telling us about what the conference is about. I think you've also answered that, but maybe you can tell us a little bit more about it.
Yes, the AI Paris Peace Summit is started a few years ago every year, and this particular year it is special because it's dubbed AI Peace Summit. So there's a Peace Summit every year for the last so many years, but this is the first on AI, and therefore it's very important because there was a call from all over the world for people to send ideas on what they are doing on AI. And at the Faculty of Engineering at the University of Nairobi, we presented or sent this project which we are working on. And out of over 700 projects all over the world, the top 50 were picked, and this particular one on extraction of carbon from landfill was among the 50. So we are going to represent Kenya on an academic research that is ongoing, and we shall be exhibiting our through posters. And we also will be dressed culturally, just to show that we are united in Kenya, and that we spread peace by involving all communities. And also the community in the dam site has been involved with the academia industry. So we are bridging that gap, and we would want it to really be showcased as an example of a peace project, although it's an academic project. And therefore that is what we are going to do. We shall be exhibiting. We have a booth in the Grand Paris, in International Conference Center, so where we will be explaining our people who will be in the conference what the project is all about and its contribution to the peace in the world. The project also will be addressing several sustainable development goals, things to do with, of course, peace, the very first one. Also on the sustainability, on the climate action, and life on land. So it's a very important project we are going to present, and I hope you'll be able to do it well.
You will.
Yes.
You certainly do it well.
Yes.
So you've talked about landfill and you've also talked about AI.
Yes.
And you've mentioned that our project also deals with carbon.
Yes.
So maybe you can tell us about carbon.
Yes.
How it is involved in clean energy.
Okay, we know that carbon is one of the most abundant materials on Earth, and it is normally carried along. As human beings, we carry it as calcium carbonate in our bones. So already there is carbon. On the trees, there is a lot of carbon captured in there. Even in the atmosphere, there is carbon dioxide. There's also methane, which has carbon. And so carbon as a molecule is a very stable compound, and it is usually buried in the landfill. When you take garbage in the landfill, there are all manner of materials, and within these materials there is already captured carbon. And therefore in the landmine, as much as we call it the dam site, there lies a lot of potential. In AI, we want to be able to give it the data that is required to be able to identify in a landmine, a 30-acre landmine, which could be almost 8 meters high, heaps of garbage. What potential do we have there? And in particular, we want to be able to isolate carbon, and therefore that's where our project comes in. And also we are involving the people who are living in the dam site to help us get the data. So that is where carbon comes in. And carbon is very important also because when you look at energy, renewable energy is an area of focus. But that energy, when you produce energy, it needs to be stored. And normally it is stored in batteries. The conventional batteries do not have very long life because they operate from a chemical reaction. But supercapacitors operate on the principle of electrostatic attraction of the ions. And carbon as an electrode is a very good material that is able to attract the electrodes. And as you know, power is just the movement of electrons. So the compound, one of the varieties of carbon is graphene, which is very good in capturing electrons. And when there's a connection, then it's able to flow. So we want to be able to look at, once we have the potential, then the next step, how do you extract, how do you refine, how do you come up with graphene or a variety of carbon that can be used for supercapacitors to store electricity. And therefore, this is a very important project. Yes.
This is quite an interesting project.
Yes.
Yes. So what are our expectations once we get there?
Once we get there, we expect a very good network, and we want to be able to partner with a lot of people, especially from Africa. I know in Africa, especially in Rwanda, there is the Center for the Fourth Industrial Revolution, and I'm sure they'll be represented there. We want to get partnerships, and we want to also look for more funding so that we can take this research project to the next level. I hope I have answered your questions adequately.
Yes, you have.
And we look forward to coming back here and also reporting what did we find.
Yes.
Yes.
We really hope to be a success as a planet.
Thank you.